1.
Hello everyone, a very good evening. I warmly welcome all of you today on behalf of the Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing for the second live webinar series. The Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing is the apex body for Sri Lankan marketers, which was founded in 1970 and subsequently incorporated by an Act of Parliament in 1980. We are mandated to uplift the marketing profession in Sri Lanka, thus providing marketing studies and conducting many national events and projects. Slim Mass National Body for Marketing has understood the magnitude and necessity of the digital operations in the current world, especially in this challenging period. Thus, we are partnered up with ISOBA to conduct the second live webinar under the theme of COVID-19 Media Dystopia. Let me introduce today's presenter for the webinar, Mr. Chamit Budgamur, Director ISOBA and Response Densu Aegis Network. Mr. Budgamur, over to you.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much, Slim. Thanks for this opportunity. I think this is the second session of our webinar series after we came into a strategic partnership. So my presentation would be about 30 minutes maximum. And I hope you could send me the questions while you're talking so we can address them at the end as well. So let's start off. So a little bit about me. As the Kampia said, I'm Chamit Budgamur. I work in the capacity of director for ISOBA and Response. Have about 18 years worth of experience in sales and marketing, won a few awards along the way, and love a little bit of behavioral economics as well, which I have included to this presentation as well. Going forward, I just want to talk about ISOBA. Some may be wondering, what is this ISOBA? So ISOBA is the digital agency network, digital agency arm of Densu Aegis Network. So Densu Aegis Network is the second biggest media network in the world and the fastest growing in the past 5 years globally. So we've been in Sri Lanka maybe for about 18 months, and within the last 18 months, we have become South Asia's silver winner of Agency of the Year. This is something that we are really proud of. So let's start off. So I just want to start off with saying I'm not an epidemiologist. I won't be predicting when the next vaccine will be coming or when the next when we'll be flattening the curve. I'll be purely speaking on my marketing knowledge, not on my medical knowledge. So as you might have seen, there are many articles where maybe data scientists and marketers are predicting how the wave will flatten or when the next vaccine is coming. So I won't be doing none of those. I'll be purely talking about the marketing aspect of things with my marketing knowledge. So currently we see a classic case of something called the Dunning-Kruger effect. So this is known as done by David Dunning. So what does this mean is, with the total lack of knowledge, there is total confidence. So let me explain this to you in plain terms. Let's say one of your good friends, he's really bad at singing, but he doesn't know how bad he is. So he has so much of confidence. So this is what we see currently in the market as well, where data scientists and marketers are talking about epidemiology, and we can see them currently maybe in this state where they may be more to this. They are currently in this state. They are talking about this. So this is something that I will clearly stay away of talking about the Dunning-Kruger effect. So before we start off, I know some of this stuff you already know, but it's better that we discuss this because some of these characteristics directly imply against how media is being consumed at the current moment. So coronavirus disease 2019, in short known as COVID-19. And how does COVID-19 transform? When a virus transforms from an animal into a human, it is called a zoonotic virus. So currently this is a type of a zoonotic virus, and predominantly most of the viruses that are currently coming in the world, or the outbreaks in the which are coming in the world yearly, regularly, the zoonotic virus type of viruses are the ones that are increasing in the world. As you know, SARS happened in 2002. There is one company that actually leveraged SARS in 2002 and 2003. So what happened was, SARS was spreading around China in 2003. Alibaba was going to launch their e-commerce platform. They were going to be a competition to eBay, a website called Taobao. So what happened was, when they were on the verge to launched this website, what happened was one of their employees contracted SARS, and what happened was they had to close the whole office and let everyone go home. But one thing that Jack Ma did was he asked all his employees to take their desktop computers home, and during that time they saw that most of the Chinese people couldn't go out to purchase their goods, and that was the birth of Alibaba. So, so one thing that you need to keep in mind here is not that as soon as they launched it, the whole market changed. Nothing like that happened. This was just the, the stepping stone to e-commerce in China. Not that once this was launched, there was a total change of this. I think many marketers are thinking that I'll be talking about it as well, where, as soon as this COVID outbreak finishes, there will be a total change in the market, where Sri Lankans will be totally buying stuff only through apps and maybe WhatsApp. So that is something that is I'll be talking about going forward as well. So where does the COVID-19 epidemic balance off with others? It is more contagious than measles at the moment, and maybe less deadly than the 1918 flu. The 1980 flu, what happened was 30% of the people on Earth contracted this, and there was another deadly virus called smallpox, where smallpox killed about 30% of the human population at that time. So it's not as deadly as maybe smallpox or the 1918 flu, but it is more contagious than COVID. So this is where it stacks up. So as all of you know, you have seen so much of marketing communication around this. How does this spread? So this is one thing that you need to keep in mind, where most of the events and outdoor advertising has been hit because of this, where they say about the average person touches his face 20 times each hour. So this is something that you really need to keep in mind on how outdoor maybe media habits changed. So there are about 3 economic stages of the COVID-19 virus. So currently we are in the stage called the COVID crisis. So it could be even 3 months, it could be 12 months, it could be 18 months. It will depend on the area that you're currently in. So this is stage number 1 that we are currently facing at the moment. There is then a second stage called the false pneuma. The false pneuma is about 3 to 4 weeks, which will happen. I will be discussing it going forward as well. And the next thing is called exogenous recession. So that is the third phase. So I'll be talking about each session as I go forward. So COVID crisis, looking at the current reports and the trends that are talking about, I mean, people who really know about it, we can clearly say that it's about from now till around September 15th in Sri Lanka that we see the current COVID crisis happening in. So during this time, we are seeing a multiple of tactical campaigns that are happening in, and we see that these tactical campaigns are broken according to 3 phases. There is one called flex, then one called fix, there is one called freeze. So fix is where companies actually didn't have to change anything, they were hardly affected, or maybe because of this crisis, they might have got a better opportunity of business as well. I'll be giving examples going forward. The next thing is the fixed companies. Fixed companies are, they didn't have their business didn't halt, but they little bit pivoted, did a little bit changes to their business model, and they're actually surviving at the moment. And the third phase, third type of companies are the freeze companies. So freeze companies are actually people who actually cannot make any advantage of this, and they are actually have to shut down currently because they cannot operate at this moment. So talking about examples, on Flex, you can see companies like Oxypura. Their masks just sold out. It's hard to find even a mask at the market. So they actually had a good market. And the next thing is I wanted to go a little bit mass market with the example. So I was thinking about a place like Dadigama Pawn Jewelry. You saw how people were pawning their jewelry. So what happened was a company like that also thrived during this time. I've kept Dialog Sri Lanka a little bit to the left because of recently in an interview, the CEO of Dialog mentioned that they had about a 10% hit on their data revenue. But if you ask any big company currently, if are you willing to take a 10% revenue hit, I think everyone would raise their hands, and that's what happened in that discussion as well. So yes, Dialog had a 10% hit, but considering the current crisis, they could be considered a flex company. The next thing is fixed companies. Like I said, companies who did a change to their business model. I think everybody can agree. Someone like Pickme, who went into the food delivery business, thrived, had partnerships with Satosa initially, and carried on their business. And the next thing is Sri Lankan Airlines, as you know, with the current crisis, they are on freeze mode. They are currently on a more, helping out the expats and people who are abroad to come back to Sri Lanka and students to come back to Sri Lanka, where their business model is not the current business model they are currently into. Going forward, this is a stat by the New York Times. This is how the virus transformed the way Americans spend their money. This is somewhat similar to what Sri Lankans are going through as well. If you see to your left, these are the type of industries that were hit most. Airlines, as you know, cruises, lodging, movie theaters, fitness. In fitness, it's not online, it's mainly into gyms, and the apparel sector. If you speak to any of your colleagues in Sri Lanka, you know how much they have been hit and how much of maybe job cuts and sacrifices they are making to survive this at the moment. So what are the markets that are surviving and thriving? Online groceries, gaming, food delivery, video streaming, meal kits, and alcohol. These are some of the things that are globally thriving as well. So this is data on the top 10 fastest growing categories and fastest decline categories on e-commerce globally. No big shocker, no big shock over here. So you can see disposable gloves. This is something that was really hard to find in Sri Lanka. Bread machines where people were breaking their own bread. You must have seen during in Sri Lanka as well. Everybody was trying to find a piece of bread, and every time they found a piece of bread, they were posting about it. Cough and cold remedies, soups, those are the fastest growing categories at the moment. The fastest declining categories is luggage and suitcases. Yeah, there is no need to have luggage and suitcases bought at this moment because we are not traveling at the moment. Briefcases, cameras, not about the camera phone, but cameras in per se, because we are not traveling anywhere. There is no need to capture any moments. Men's swimwear, bridal clothing. So these are some of the fastest declining categories globally on e-commerce as well. This is data as at March 2020. This is some local data, wonderful data by Kantar, April 2020. This talks about what type of stuff Sri Lankans are willing to spend and stuff that they won't be spending in the future. Insurance and investment schemes are actually in the middle. They are not hit that much according to this, but foreign vacations, home decorations, luxury items, automobiles, basically high ticket value items are being stopped at the moment. So on foreign vacations, speaking to many of the people in the industry who are experts on this, they were saying that many of the foreign business travel is actually will be stopped. And even if many people were going abroad or going on vacations, if they went for 2 vacations, it will drop down to 1. And if it was locally, or if they had maybe 3 family trips for the year, it will drop down to 1. So, basically local tourism, internal tourism will actually have a huge spike. So I think companies who are into this could, if you can already lay your plans for maybe 2021, I don't see this thriving in 2020. So if you can lay your plans for 2021, this is the best time. You have about 6 months to lay your plans, and going forward, this would be the way for new business. The next slide is also by Kantar, April 2020. This talks about how people will be spending their money. This is the first graph over here, talks about spending in last month. So 22% said they reduced a lot, and some said they reduced somewhat. So it's about a 62% number that they had said they have reduced. Spending after the lockdown is over, if you see, about 54% says they'll save money, and about 40% said save as before. So about 94% of people will be saving money. So I think the future for savings and banking is really good. And if you are a bank, I think this is one of the best opportunities you can get in, because people are looking to save money. If another crisis like this hits, what are they going to do about it? These are some of the campaigns that were going on as soon as the crisis came on. A lot of logo manipulations were happening during this time. Global companies, local companies were looking into this. So this was one of the good instances there where brands, got into this and wanted to promote social distancing. This is something the other way around, where many felt that, suddenly anywhere you gave your email address, the CEO of that company was sending you a letter asking, how are you doing? How can we help you? This was not well received by most of the global population, where you saw a CEO who had removed his tie, who is more informal, trying to tell you a message from your CEO. I think that was not the need at that moment. Many people were concerned about their family and friends. They were not willing to listen to a random CEO talking about maybe how you're feeling. So this is one of the world's best copywriters who wrote a tweet about it. He said, honestly, I had no idea there was this many companies that are here for me at this difficult time. I think this really sums up the current mood when people were actually ranting about this going on. This is something that was done by Ad Age. As you know, during this time, April Fool's Day were coming up, and many were thinking, will any brand try to, be a little bit cheeky or, get shot down by all the online audience because they try to do something stupid. I thought this really summed up opinion, what marketers should do for April Fool's Day this year. And the only copy on that article was nothing. So I think this was one of the perfect instances where they summed up what needs to be done during this time. We all know Jerome McCarthy. He wrote a book called Basic Marketing. In that book, he introduced a thing called the marketing 4 Ps. As marketers, I think this is one of the first things that we learn. Product, price, place, promotion. But sadly, if you look at the current marketing scenario, and during this time, we only saw marketers maybe trying to promote the promotion part of it, where product, price, and place was not coming into play. In many organizations, I'm not telling every organization, in many organizations, you see this type of model, where product, price, place is separate, where promotion is the bigger lever that is being used. So why is promotion only being used? So in many marketing departments, product is too important, so that is not given to them. Price, no one trusts. You know how finance and marketing goes about things, and place is basically beyond them. And promotion is the only thing that marketers get to do in many organizations. So they go to town with it. So this is what you saw during this time as well. So these are some of the companies who actually did it really well during this crisis phase. Like I said, only promotion was done, but these companies where Uber Eats, a company, did product really well. they changed their product and service offering really quickly. Allowed small restaurants to join without any initial fees. They didn't charge any sign-up fees from them. This is globally. I'm not talking about Sri Lanka. I'm not sure about Sri Lanka. I'm talking about a global example. They were paying them daily rather than weekly, so letting them have the cash flow coming in. A lot of cross promotion was coming in where they were promoting the restaurants as well, and they changed their delivery mechanism as well. The delivery mechanism is where generally what happens is someone comes and knock on your door, but what they changed was they will drop the food near your doorstep and send you a pic to the customer saying that they are delivered. So there is totally contactless exchange happening. So this is one company that did product really well. So this is another company called Menu. It is a Danish supermarket chain. What they said was everyone knew that there was a lot of hoarding happening, a lot of panic buying happening in the market. They said, okay, if you buy, there was a big need for sanitizers here in Sri Lanka as well. So what they said was, if you can buy one bottle of our sanitizers for $6, but if you want to buy two, you need to pay $145. So that's the way they stopped hoarding happening and panic buying. And if you need to buy extra bottle, it's another $145. So to price, they stopped hoarding happening directly. This is where how place was nicely done. This was an Australian retailer called Woolworths. What they did was they created a basics box that about a $80 worth box. They gave it about a $40. What they found out was since there was only a lot of online purchasing happening, many of the elderly and the weak couldn't buy none of these because they couldn't compete with the demand of maybe the general public buying. So what they did was they created a different channel. What they said was, okay, if you want to buy online, you can buy it online, but for the elderly and the needy, you can buy the same box. This will serve you for about a week. But this box will only come in the general mail after 2 days. So if you're willing to wait 2 days, you could buy this product. So this is how companies, out of the 4 Ps, they leveraged it really well. So we've talked about the tactical aspects of things. Then there is a strategic stuff as well, campaigns as well. But I think this year there won't be any strategic levers being pulled. So this is something we will be seeing in 2021. And we have times to plan this as well. What would be the targeting? What would be the brand portfolio we'll be putting out? Brand positioning, brand codes, strategic objectives going forward. So with the exogenous recession being predicted in 2021, exogenous means it is not a natural recession. This is purely because of COVID. So you have time in advance to plan your portfolio going forward. So the second phase, as I said, so we are currently in the COVID crisis. As soon as the COVID crisis finishes, like I said, in Sri Lanka, we can say it's about September 15th. There is something that happens called a false pneuma. A false pneuma is, it's a Greek philosophical word. It means a breath of fresh air. So as soon as a crisis finishes, many marketers and pundits in the area, they say the total market is going to change. Market is never going to be the same. Advertising is never going to be the same. Media is never going to be the same. There is a total change. So you see many of the people writing stuff like this. So these are some of the articles that I found online. This is the BBC. How will the coronavirus change the world? The world has changed forever. Are you ready? We can't go back to the normal. How will the coronavirus change the world? So these and maybe another 8,000 odd articles you must have seen in this. This is actually, when you look at data, this is total false. This has never happened. Maybe there is a small change. There is a small amount of people who have changed, but this is not considerate enough to say that the whole market has changed. And this won't happen overnight. Like I said, Alibaba, the SARS virus happened in 2002, and now it's 2020. So it takes over time. Overnight, it doesn't change. Best example from recent, the mad cow disease. The mad cow disease, when it hit the UK, 160,000 cases. There are multiple examples, but I've been taking something which was near in 1996. 160,000 cases, 55 deaths. The EU banned British beef. McDonald's getting British beef. 60% of UK consumers said they will never eat beef again. Okay, they said they will never eat beef again. And the articles read that the end of the British Rose. So, but what happened? So this is going up to 1996. There was a dip coming in, but look what happened after 1996. It just got back to normal, and the new normal was the old normal. So they are consuming beef like they used to pre 1996, and like the people said they will never, 60% of people said they never consume beef, British beef. It never happened. So if you look at all the other examples, it's the same thing. So even though people say it's going to be a total change, it's not going to happen. We've been shaking hands with others for 6,000 years. Every time an outbreak comes, people say don't have any contact, have social distancing, but this thing have been surviving for 6,000 years. And the next example, is everyone washing their hands 20 seconds at the moment? Initially, when the total outbreak came out, everybody was washing their hands for maybe 20 seconds. But are you washing your hands? If you're doing it, it's really good. But are you doing it? Do you think going forward also people will wash their hands for 20 seconds? Because we are going back to the normal, which is the thing that we know really well, which is, and I think one of the biggest data that the WHO said as well, why do you see that there are so many males dying to the coronavirus? They said what the simple truth was, men's really don't wash their hands as often that females does. So that is one of the data that they came up with. So this is one of the marketing greats, Bill Bernbach. He summed this false tumor really well. He said it took millions of years for man's instincts to develop. It will take a million more for them to even vary. It's just fashionable to talk about a changing man. So this is what you see, which is happening. So many webinars, so many articles where people are talking about, the world has changed forever. Sri Lanka has changed forever. E-commerce, there's such a big boom that is happening. Yes, there is a stepping stone, but it's not like a snap of fingers where the total world has changed overnight. This is some data done by a local research agency called Sparkwind Research. They asked the Colombo urban people once, will you continue to use get home deliveries through an app or home deliveries through WhatsApp? So according to this data, 34% of people have said yes, they will continue to use apps going post-COVID and use WhatsApp to get e-com deliveries done as well. This is a wonderful stat. If this happens, I think this is one of the best things that will happen to the market, but this is really not the case. So I was speaking to one of my colleagues in office, and he summed it up really well. There is something called an availability heuristic. What is the availability heuristic? Overestimating the likelihood of something happening because it has greater mental availability at that time. I'll explain this to you in the most simplest way as possible. So you currently, let's say it's your big match. Okay, this is a little bit of a adult kind of example. It's your big match. All your friends are wasted, got drunk and wasted. So your big match finishes on Saturday. On Sunday, you're gonna ask him, "Aayit bonawada?" Aayana kate tiyanne kila they will say that. And during that time, if you take that data, almost 80% of people will say, "Ambu aayana mam bonne." But again, by next Wednesday, 3 o'clock in the evening, your school WhatsApp group will say, "Mukada venne." What's going to happen? So this is how it happens. Because of currently, people who bought through an app didn't have a second choice to buy it. Not that they had the choice of going to a shop and buying it. So gathering this data at this point will not give you the clear indication. So if they are saying it's 30%, even if it was 5%, I think something that we can be really happy of. How behaviors have changed. This is a meme that I found on the internet. ඇහැරෙන් 11ට උදේට කන්නේ 12ට දවල්ට කන්නේ 4ට රැයට කන්නේ 10ට නිදාගන්නේ පාන්දර 4ට මීට වඩා වෙනස් ජීවිතයක් තියෙනවා නම් අටපට්ටමට කියන්නේ. So I think many of the people have changed and lost track of time and the day of the month. So this is how things are going on. The average sleep time in Sri Lanka has changed as well. So this was monitored to telco data. As you know, the phone is the first thing that you have in your hand and the last thing that you have in your hand before you go to sleep. So the average sleep time in Sri Lanka was about 10:30 p.m. It has actually gone up to 11:45 p.m. So this is something that have changed during the past 51 days. This is some data that one of my colleagues were crunching at office. So what happened was they were just crunching some data and they found out that Kill Super delivery was actually more popular than Pornhub in Sri Lanka for a small time. You know how Sri Lankans have created their records on porn related stuff, but Kill Super was actually more trending than Pornhub in this time. So this is one of the data that our guys are crunching at office. So how does ad spend change? Again, Kanta data, if you look at the consumption, TV, radio, then Facebook, internet surfing, online videos, those are the ones that are trending. More digital focused stuff. Cinema, newspapers, magazines were actually gone down. Cinema, for obvious reasons, people cannot go because of social distancing. Newspapers, there is the digital version, but that is not as effective as the print and magazines. So cinema, newspaper, magazines have gone down. TV, radio, and Facebook, internet surfing has actually gone up. TV consumption has gone up by 56% at the moment. Weekly 60 million people turned in to watch TV, resulting in approximately 500,000 additional viewers coming into TV. There is a surge that happened. Average Sri Lankan spends about 110 minutes watching TV. During this time, it has gone up to 200 minutes. So this is a considerable change as well going into the last 1 month. The TV watching times have actually not changed. The prime time and non-prime time has not changed, but 60% increase during the non-prime time has happened where viewers, the number of viewers have increased during this time. Going forward, to summarize, more males have come into to watch TV during daytime, and children's viewership has gone about 2.5 times during this time as well. Average data usage. So globally, average data usage has gone up on smartphones about 53%. Speaking to a few colleagues, I got to know in Sri Lanka, it has, the average data usage has grown at about 100% more currently in Sri Lanka. So this is something that has happened during the past month as well. But the global average is about 53% that has grown up. Netflix, Netflix subscribers have grown up by 16 million during the past month as well. So not only Netflix, all OTT platforms where something like Z, Hulu, Amazon, everything is having additional subscribers. And one thing that contributed to this number as well, there was some really good content that was dished out. The Last Dance by the story of the Chicago Bulls that contributed a lot, and most of the TV series that came out as well contributed to this. But 16 million subscribers have been added to the Netflix goodie bag as well. I hear locally many people saying that mobile usage has grown so much. Recently, couple of webinars that I was sitting, many people were saying mobile usage has grown so much than the currently it was the biggest device type that was going, but it's not the case. It's data is not showing that. Many people have not looked at the correct data and mentioned this. So what's happening is desktop usage is at its highest at the recent past. This data shows you as well. Facebook through website, it has grown 27%, but through app it's actually declining. Netflix, same story. YouTube, same story as well. So desktop usage, just think about yourself. You're doing your office work through your laptop. Have you reduced your mobile usage during the day? So global data as a whole contributes as well, but there is a false rumor saying that mobile usage has gone higher from the current position it was, but no, it's actually declining where desktop usage is gone higher. Again, sporting and gaming has gaming has gone up, and live sporting has gone down as well on viewership. Experimental marketing. Experimental marketing, as I said, Wimbledon was cancelled. So this is one of the biggest ad revenue that comes in. The Olympics were cancelled. Another big revenue. They were even saying that in 2021, they won't be able to have the Tokyo Olympics at the current state because it's too much of a gamble to take. So these are one of the biggest ad revenue generators in the world. So this was cancelled as well. Cannes, the biggest advertising festival, was cancelled as well, advertising and creative festival in the world. So these are all opportunities, advertising opportunities, and revenue that was lost by agencies and brands. Many of the conferences or knowledge sharing sessions actually transform into the digital platform. This is the Drum Festival is one of the biggest digital sessions that are happening. They actually did it 100% through digital and gave it free of charge as well. The other biggest challenge is events and interactive experience. As you know, for interactive experiences, it involves touch. So at this moment, as you know, touch and close contact is one of the biggest concerns in the market. So, and this happen in many of the conferences that you live in, MarTech kind of conferences that you visit. This is one of the biggest things that happens. So these are being hit really bad as well. Production companies. So production companies, safety is a big issue. Teams are traveling around Sri Lanka, shooting projects. So safety is one of their biggest issues. If you see most of the new commercials that are coming in on TV and digital, they are mostly animations because they cannot go out and do a live shoot. Most of the global biggest agency networks have put travel restrictions on their people. As Dentsu, we also have a travel restriction where we cannot travel to any country. This is prior to the COVID virus come to Sri Lanka as well. So most of the travel restrictions were put on place, and it's even if it was cheaper to maybe do production maybe in Colombo, we cannot travel out because of there are certain lockdown scenarios that are happening. So these production companies are hit really bad as well. This is another stat done by EcoHealth Alliance 2017. This is done with the WHO. This stat actually talks about where the next big pandemic will stick. So if you look, there is Sri Lanka also in a bright yellow position. They talk, they say why do they consider these countries one of the biggest to hit by a pandemic? One is deforestation, high level of wildlife biodiversity, dense human population, and interaction of humans and wildlife. So, dear marketers, I think this is something that even if it's not something that is directly, like I said, we are not epidemiologists, but this is something that we need to keep in mind that there could be something that could come in the future as well, and how well you will be geared to cater to this as well. One of my last slides. So on average, it takes about 66 days to form a habit. You must have heard about the 21-day rule. Many telling to form a habit, it only takes 21 days. Is actually that research is actually outdated. The latest research, which has been considered by giants like Facebook and Twitter, is that generally behavior change takes 66 days. According to the behavior, the days change as well. So the range is about from 18 to about 254 days according to the habit that you need to be changed. So 66 days, and currently we are at 51 days of lockdown in Sri Lanka. So let's see how our behaviors would change. like I said, there is a thing called a false pneuma, where people think that as soon as the COVID crisis goes down, the whole of Sri Lanka will on a finger snap will be changed. But let's see what kind of behaviors have changed, what kind of things have come to our life. So this is in total how the media landscape has changed and how the behaviors have changed. Please let me know if you have any questions. I'll be willing to answer. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Mr. Budgama. Moving on to our Q&A session. Mr. Budgama, there's a question for you by Mr. Saman Lianage. He has asked, as Health Minister confirmed, there are no more worried to hide and all they have identified the all Pokuru gang. And 11th is okay to continue the same. So private companies has no more threat at all.
And the question is?
So basically they're asking, so do the private companies have a threat at all?
Like I said, again, it's the epidemiology side is not here being considered. I think most of the companies have quickly moved into being digital savvy, and as Nisal mentioned about the digital transformation which has happened. Initially, we was having a bigger problem where we was more focused on maybe having video calls with our customers, but within about a week, everything changed. I think the first week was so traumatic for everyone. Everybody was working from 8 o'clock to about 10 o'clock in the night. I think everybody can agree that their workloads changed about 4 times more. So I think even though we go to the 11th, I think there will be more time where people will, stay on this because they have now been accustomed to this. And I think they leverage what they did. Most of the people have their machines and the connections as well. So I think this is something that we can go on this mode. Maybe many companies will stay off this month and maybe try from the next.
Yeah, Mr. Budgama. There's another comment by Mr. Roshan. He has stated that in USA, camera market has increased due to social media content developers.
Okay, this is camera market. I was mentioning on this. This is total e-com data. So camera market here they are mentioning is they talk about where people won't be going out and purchasing cameras. So camera market here doesn't include the camera phones or the high-end camera phones. This is purely high-end cameras that are used for maybe traveling and creating content.
Hello? Yeah, Mr. Budgama. There's another comment by Mr. Isuru. In most organization, marketers have only seen promotion segments apart from maybe FMCG. Mainly marketing is done by the product teams as they would stick to optimization theories.
And the question is?
It's a comment, Mr. Budgama.
Okay. No, so what I believe is, like I said, it's not every company. The 4Ps price mainly is not done by the marketing team. The place and promotion is not done by them. Only the promotion part is mainly considered by them. And if you see what happened during the past month, the marketers were going to town with the promotion aspect of things. And there were a lot of backlash on that as well. So I think this is not a blanket statement, but if you look around what has happened, I think that is something that most of us could agree.
Yeah, Mr. Budgama. There's one more comment by Mr. Saman Lianage again. He has said most of the companies is trying to set their e-commerce site during this lockdown and more interest about the online payments category. Nice to see now they are into e-commerce business right now.
Yeah. So that is one thing that if you look on a personal experience as well, most of our clients are looking to start their e-commerce platforms and looking into new ways of delivery as well. So that is something really good. Like I said, like Jack Ma used the 2002 SARS outbreak to lay the foundation for the biggest e-commerce business in the world. This could be the stepping stone for many companies to lay the stepping stone for a new channel as well. Like I said, none of the past data shows that people would be purely buying through e-commerce because of currently they are stick to this because of they have to go only through this. They are not given another option of having another channel. So this is the perfect time to lay the foundation, and I think within the next 6 months, people who does the hardware yards and look at the long distance of this operation, I think they will survive and they will thrive.
Yeah, Mr. Budgam. There's one more question by Mr. Gihan. He has asked, as you mentioned, airlines is under freeze. How freeze segments overcome this COVID-19? What are the best practices that airlines can do?
Freeze currently is actually the biggest problem. So currently, if you look at it, it's something like the airline sector is really hit really bad because there are a lot of companies that have put travel bans and not allowing others to come down as well. So I think this is something they will have to, stay back and wait till the situation, gets better because of technically, if you look at it, there is no possibility of them traveling until this is being controlled. That's why they are considered a freeze category. Anything else?
Mr. Budgam. There's one more question. Give me a sec. There's one more question by Anusha. She has asked, any idea about liquor market? Because most of daily wages losing their jobs right now.
I'm actually not, I have not done any in-depth research on the liquor market, but something I have put my Twitter handle here as well. I can look into this data and I can get back to you on this. But in specific, I have not looked at the total liquor market data at the moment. But according to US numbers, that is something that is growing as well. But like I said, I have included a lot of local data in my presentation. I do not have any local data on the liquor market. So I could look at this and get back to you on that.
Yeah, Mr. Budgam, that's all for now. Even they have said thank you for the amazing session as well.
Okay, thanks so much, guys.
Well, I would like to say thank you, Mr. Chamit Budgam, for having this initiative along with the Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing in conducting this webinar. We are very pleased and honored to have you as the speaker for the webinar titled as COVID-19 Media Dystopia. On the other hand, Slim would like to thank all our participants for taking part and having a great engagement in today's webinar. We hope this gave a lot of insights on media dystopia. Just to make a note, Slim will be emailing you all a survey. We would like to request all of you to fill it out and submit it, as your feedback is highly valued to serve you better. Well, that wraps up today's webinar. Thank you everyone and have a pleasant evening.